Hi, I'm Larry Nelson, an instrument-rated private pilot with a passion for aviation. I built what I think is the perfect aircraft for my mission, exploring my home state of Arizona and beyond while taking you along for the ride. I also want to showcase affordable aviation and show the incredible capability of these light airplanes. Follow me along in my aviation journey. This is Zenvair Pilot. After a recent video, many of you guys reached out to me to get some more information on how to use some of the capabilities of the GRT EFIS. If you guys saw the video I produced, I went through there and I showed some things like a basic flight plan entry, shooting a synthetic approach, and I did all of these things utilizing both the onboard flight plan tools and my GPS 175. But a lot of you guys are wondering how I was doing that and what is the best methodology for setting up these different flight plans. Before I get into that, I think it's important for us to take a step back and go back and think about how we actually set up a flight plan. The simplest form of a VFR flight plan is just a direct-to flight plan. These are the most simple, basic ways to do it, where I'm saying, here I am, here's where I want to go. But this is not necessarily the best way to set up a flight plan. What you want to do is actually have a better understanding of IFR waypoints. These are geo-reference positions within the United States that allow us to fly direct to intermittent points and create a more realistic route. So I showed you guys here a route between Yuma and Imperial, California. And if you notice, the direct to takes me right over Mexico. So because of that, I can't fly that direct to, so I chose a couple of waypoints. The first waypoint I chose was Arazi, which is just outside of the VOR position from Yuma. The second one was Argus, which is just outside of Imperial, and then direct to the waypoint, which is Imperial Airport. When you look at this, while I'm able to easily set it here, these points do not show up on a VFR sectional chart.
Alright, so like I said in the intro, I'm out here getting ready to fly this flight, and we need to program in the waypoints directly into the EFIS. Let me show you how to do that. First thing we want to do is we want to go to the map page. On the map page, we're going to go next, next again until we see flight plan. Now right now I've got this set up for my external flight plan, but we're going to turn this to internal. From internal, now we are going to add a waypoint. In this case, we're going to start with the Arazi. So you hit A. We can hit next, PQR, A, Z, I. Got our Arazi fix in there. Now, I made one little mistake. We do have to start out with the airport we're at. So in this case, it is 54 A, Z. There we go. From there we go enter. We got our first point. Now we need to add a point. In this case, it is Arazi. There's Arazi. Notice it's telling us it is a fix. We're gonna go enter that. Next, we said it was Argus. A, R, G. Now that's kind of like, since it's a vortex, there's 5 matches, so we're not there yet. Then U, S. Argus lists all 3 matches. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go enter, giving us those distances, and then the last we are going to add K, I, P, L. Is that right? That's J, K, L, Imperial County. So as soon as we finish it up, it gives us right here what we are looking for. Now when I hit that, I go enter and exit. Now this should plot that flight plan for us. Now I do have up here is my tablet, so I can watch for traffic. Everything else is programmed now. I like to, when I fly on this, is have the split screen so I can see both my attitude information along with the information directly from the internal map. Somerton traffic experimental 918 Lima November, taking off runway 17 Somerton. Alright, clear on final. Clear on final. Sun is coming up and it is going to be a warm one today in Yuma, Arizona. I see 17. VC 17. Going up 2,000 RPM. Everything's in the green, release the brake.
Waypoint. Obstacle.
Nice, smooth takeoff, pitch up. And everything is right in line as we were expecting. Somerton traffic, experimental 8 Lima November, left crosswind, departing the north, last call, Somerton. And as you notice, that first leg is turned magenta. Now we can't fly that directly in this case, mainly because we have an issue with airspace. So we're going to swing around, and we are going to clear all of this airspace. All right, let's hop over to approach. And for this flight, notice I can set my altitude here. We are going to set this to 2,500. Just sneaking on the outside of that Delta airspace. And let's pick up flight following. Yuma approach experimental 918 Lima November with request.
918 Lima November, approach cleared.
Yeah, 918 Lima November is about 4 miles to the west, climbing to 2,500, looking for flight following to Imperial.
Lima November, squawk 0420.
0420, 8 Lima November, and climbing to 2,500.
A93 Golf Tango Long, clear altimeter 2974. Lima November, radar contact 6 miles west, Yuma Airport 1700, altimeter 2974.
2974, 8 Lima November. Alright, so we're on flight following now. I don't necessarily have to worry about the Delta because the Delta is not open just yet, but now we are going to go direct to Rossi. So you notice this line here, this is showing us, well, two things. We have this green line here showing us what our top of descent will be. That's going to be the altitude in which we actually hit our 2,000 feet. And then we also have this line here in the sky to give us our highway in the sky center line. So we're going to follow both of those to Arazi and then all the way on to our final destination, which is Imperial County Airport. And this thing is just going to fly us right down the center of our highway in the sky. So the highway is called these magenta boxes, and then we have the center line here, and that's what we're going to be tracking. All right, coming up on the Arazi intersection. Now, tell us on here, we're going to get to Arazi in 1 minute, 4 seconds. So we also get some of that time and distance information as well. All right, so 2,500 feet, coming up on Arazi in 30 seconds. Now, this is kind of, if you're a Harry Potter fan, Flying this is kind of like playing Quidditch because you get a hoop in the air, you get to fly through. So I'm going to see how well I can fly through the hoop.
Waypoint.
So tell us we're on our waypoint. I'm going to fly right through the center of this hoop right here. See it? It is very satisfying when you just fly right through the center of that electronic hoop, and then we make our turn on course. Now we make our turn on course again. What's nice about this is we do have those waypoint balloons again. I'm going to put a little bit of an angle because I want to get back into my highway in the sky boxes. And you can program the height of those highway in the sky boxes. Mine are programmed to be 150 feet. So as I'm flying, it kind of keeps me keeps me honest to the ACS standards. All right, now we got to go to the Argus intersection. Now the dead center here, we get this target, and whenever you put the target on, that's actually where you are heading. So we have up top, I'm going to do my twist, turn, twist. So I've got my heading set, and I've also got, if you look at the top there, there's those these two triangles, and that is your track. So notice I want to get back on track. And I'm going to hold this track here at 2,500 feet. Okay. Now the challenge to the Argus intersection, we have 28 minutes. So I'll catch you guys at the Argus intersection on my way into Imperial. Approach experimental 8, leaving November 2,500.
Live clear.
Alright, now that I got that, so I've swapped over to the other. Let's see if I can get the information from 132.175.
Density altitude 2,200. Imperial County Airport. Automated weather observation 1253 Zulu. Wind 080 at 05. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 32 Celsius. Dew point 16 Celsius. Altimeter 2973. Remarks. Density altitude 2,200.
Alright, so we got that information there. Let's bring up Unicom 122.7. Alright, we are all configured. Got all the information, everything's configured, got no traffic around me, and it is a beautifully smooth but hot morning. So right now, we are looking at an outside air temperature of 96 degrees at 6 a.m. Welcome to Arizona summertime flying. This is why we fly early in the morning and get on the ground before it gets way too hot, because the sun just creeped over the horizon right there. Now here's the other thing, is I'm at 2,500 feet, my density altitude is 5,500 feet. So think about those numbers for those of you guys out on the other side of the country. So for the GPS approach into Imperial, the decision altitude is 560 feet. So we are going to set the decision altitude to
245 Yankee approach, go ahead.
560 feet. So just got to wait. 560 feet. That's our descent altitude. And our missed approach altitude, in this case, we are going to set it to 3,500 feet because that's what altitude I'm going to come back home at. So we got those two there, so if I hit miss, it's automatically going to set the altitude to 3,500 feet. And our decision altitude again is there. Now here's the next thing we can do. We're coming up on Argus in 10 minutes. We are going to
Yankee, squawk 0451.
We are going to arm a synthetic approach. So the synthetic approach, I want to land runway 32, which I've got highlighted there.
57 Yankee, and just so you know, I'll probably lose comms with you on this freak in about 10 miles. Just try 3227 if you don't get a hold of me in like 10 minutes.
Okay, so what I've done is I've now set the synthetic approach to runway 32 at Imperial, and they'll see it here. It says SAP 32. That's telling me that the synthetic approach is active. This is going to give us our altitude callouts, and it's also going to give us that nice flight path all the way to the ground.
57 Yankee, radar contact, mile southwest of Bard, vortex 2600.
Now when we look at the chart, let me go back over here to the map, zoom out. See, if we go to Argus, Imperial, it's going to plot a course over here, which means we've got to intercept that course for that synthetic approach at a 45-degree angle to get the information. So once we cross over Argus, I'm actually going to be looking for that extended center line on that approach. Imperial traffic experimental Lima November is turning a 4-mile final runway 32, touch and go Imperial. Alright, so I do have the runway in sight, but we are going to have this highway in the sky box to give us a little extra help to get down there. There's our runway, there's our highway in the sky. Okay. Fuel's on perfect, make sure it's rich, and now carb heat is on.
Approaching minimums.
Got our minimum set. I got below my glide path there, so let's get back into it using those little highway in the sky boxes.
Minimums.
Okay, we just hit our minimums. We're 600 feet above altitude. I am visual.
$500.
Right on the glide path for the PAPI, or the VASI in this case. Okay, pull some more speed off of here.
200.
Good touchdown point. Grease that thing on there. Grease that thing on there. Alright, we're going to head back to Yuma. And part of that is understanding how to reverse that flight plan. Imperial traffic, experimental 8 Lima November is on the go, runway 32, left departure to the north, or the southwest. Okay, we're going to go up to 3,500 feet today on the way back. Now to show that, we're going to go here to the map page, flight plan, and you can look here, reverse flight plan.
Waypoint.
Now, I've got my entire flight plan I just flew, but in reverse. Very, very simple. Makes it very easy for us to set these flight plans up and get back and forth with that. I'm going to sit there and punch a bunch of numbers.
Alright, so I am back from that flight, and again, I thought it was good to sit down and show you guys how to use these avionics, how to put the flight plans in, showing the direct to, all of those things in a more basically kind of a step-by-step as opposed to just a quick demonstration. And hopefully you guys got a lot out of that. I did. Again, I usually fly off of the GPS 175, but it's good to refresh my knowledge and skills of the other technology you have on board. But I do need to thank the sponsor of this video, which is GRT Avionics. GRT is an American-based company based in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and they've been making avionics for experimental aircraft since the early 90s. They've been innovating a little bit in the background, and you guys should see some things coming out very, very soon. What's great about GRT is they do have avionics for every budget point. So you can start out with the Sport EX, you can go up to the Horizon, all the way down to the Mini. There's basically a panel for every budget. So if you guys are in the market for avionics for your experimental or light sport aircraft, go check out GRT Avionics and see what they have to offer. But I think that wraps it up here. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, for planes in the hangar, projects in the garage, get building, get flying, and I'll see you guys in the air next time.